Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, my dear respected viewers. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we pray that Allah bless us in this blessed month. And inshallah, may Allah bless us with the understanding and the deen and tawfiq and hidayah. In the book of Nurul Idah, we are still in the chapter of Tayammum. And in our last lesson, we spoke about the integrals of Tayammum. We spoke about the tapping, one tap for the face and one tap for the hand. And also we spoke about the conditions of the dust that we use in order for us to get the validity of Tayammum. So today, inshallah, we will continue from where we stopped in our last lesson. So this is where the author mentioned وَرُكْنَاهُ مَسْحُ الْيَدَيْنِ وَالْوَجْهِ. These are the two integrals of Tayammum. Number one is مَسْحُ الْيَدَيْنِ, يعني مَسْحُ الْيَدَيْنِ, that we use the dust to wipe our hands, وَالْوَجْهِ, and the face. Before that he mentioned وَشُرُوطُ وُجُوبِهِ كَمَا ذُكِرَ فِي الْوُضُوءِ. So the conditions on its obligation are the same as the conditions of wudu, except for a few things. So now we go on to our lesson today. We have come to this part where he mentioned Sunnahut Tayammum. So now we are going to speak about the Sunnahs in Tayammum. So before this we cover the obligations or the integrals and the reasons why a person can do Tayammum, why a person cannot do Tayammum. Now we are going to speak about the Sunnahs of Tayammum. So here the author mentioned وَسُنَّنُ Tayammum sab'a. There are 7 Sunnahs. Number 1, at-tasmiyatu fi awwalihi. Since Tayammum is ibadah, every form of ibadah, it is a sunnah for us to begin with the basmalah. We say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Likewise in wudu, likewise in bathing the obligatory bath and so on and so forth. At-tasmiyatu fi awwalihi. Yani, before we perform our Tayammum, we recite the basmalah. Number 2 is tartib. Tartib in sequence. In the madhab of Hanafi, the Hanafi madhab views that tartib is a sunnah, and this is a point of difference in between the Hanafi school and the Shafi'i school. In Shafi'i madhab, we regard tartib as wajib, but here he mentioned tartib is a sunnah. What is the meaning of tartib is a sunnah? If a person, for example, he wipes his hand first, then he wipes his face, the tayammum is valid. But the sunnah is to wipe the face first, then the hands. So this is the meaning of the sunnah of tartib. Number 3, al-muwala. Al-muwala, that he does it immediately. After he taps for the face, immediately he taps from the hand without waiting much. Number 4, وَإِقْبَالُ الْيَدَيْنِ بَعْدَ وَضَعِهِمَا فِي التُّرَابِ. So now, basically, what the author is saying, so now, for example, if I am doing any tayammum, so there are certain things that I must make sure. So the first thing when I tap, so I wipe the upper part of the hand. So hand, we have this upper part and we have this lower part. So we wipe on the upper part, not beginning with the thumb. We wipe like this all the way up. When we reach the elbows we turn, and then we wipe the downward part. So this is the downward part. So our hands we have the upward, and then we have the downward, and then we wipe the ibham like this. Likewise when we want to wipe our left hand. So now this is the dust that I wipe. I wipe from the left, from the tip of my hands all the way to the elbows I turn. Then I wipe the downward part, and then I mix it and I do takhleel. So this is to ensure that the dust reaches all parts of the hand. So basically the author is speaking about this. So he said وَإِقْبَالُ الْيَدَيْنِ بَعْدَ وَضْعِهِمَا فِي التُّرَابِ. After we place our hands from on the dust, and then we dust the upper part. wa idbaruhuma, and then when we turn and we do any the lower part. Number 6, the sunnah yani is nafat any like this. Yani when we tap, it is a sunnah any to do any like this, so that any the stones or some any things any fall off. Because any the thing any about tayammum, any it is not to make any our face any fully covered any with dust, but we just take any the bits any of the dust. So this is ta'abudi. It is not any about make sure that every dust any covers in your face and like you are wearing this makeup, but the purpose in your tayammum is that it is ta'abudi. It is a form of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have any the nafad, yani the sunnah of nafad. And then number 7 is tafrijul asabi'. Yani when we tap any like this, so that the dust any can enter in between any our dust. And then it is sunnah also yani we do yani takhlil. Now we are going to speak about ta'khiru tayammum. Okay, what is the meaning of ta'khiru tayammum? The author will give an example. And for the examples, inshallah, it will be clear for us. Number 1, he said, وَنُودِبَ تَأْخِيرُ تَيَمُّمْ لِمَنْ يَرْجُو الْمَاءَ قَبْلَ خُرُوجِ الْوَقْتِ. So now the situation is like this. Now, we do not have water. But there is a possibility that water comes at the end of the timing in your prayer. So for example, we are going to pray Zohar with tayammum. But somebody is saying there is a possibility that our friend will come 10 minutes before Asr. 10 minutes before Asr. So we say it is a sunnah to it. Sunnah, not wajib. Because why? Possibility. Possible that he comes, possible and he does not come. So in this situation, if there is no conviction, then waiting for water is a sunnah. Mandub. This is what the author is saying. وَنُودِبَ تَأْخِيرُ تَيَمُّمْ. Yani it is a sunnah for us not to do tayammum now, but to do it at a later time. لِمَنْ يَرْجُ الْمَاءَ قَبْلَ خُرُوجِ الْوَقْتِ. Yani before the water upon the timing of prayer ends, that there is a possibility then the water will come. Now this is point number 1. So it is a sunnah to do ta'khir. So now we understood what is the meaning of ta'khir. Ta'khir basically to make our prayer at a later stage. Number 2, wayajibu ta'khir. Ta'khir can become wajib. How any ta'khir become wajib? Bil wa'di bil ma. Yani meaning a person say with conviction that I will come at 4 o'clock with water. I will come at 4 o'clock. So for example, Asr is 4:10. So in this situation, and it becomes any wajib. Wajib any for me to wait any for water. It's not permissible any for me to do tayammum. Walau khaf al-qada. Although he fears that if he waits any for this person, the timing any of the prayer any might end. Although we say this is compulsory, that you cannot any do tayammum now, you have any to wait until any the water any comes, because now there is a promise. There is a promise that the water any will come. For example, nowadays we can relate any to Grab. For example, if you order any water, then in their indication, for example, any from this timing any to this timing, if that coincide any with the timing any of prayers, then we have to wait until water comes, because otherwise our tayammum any will not be valid. Number 3, wayajibu ta'khir bil wa'di bis thawb aw is-siqa'i ma lam yakhi fil qada. So now the author going to explain something else pertaining to clothes. A person for example he doesn't have clothes to cover the awrah, but somebody tells him that I will come and I reach at 4 p.m. For example, Asar 4:05, 4 p.m. and I come. So now there is a promise that this person will bring the clothes. So it is wajib for him to wait, but the difference between this obligation is that ma lam yakhi fil qada. If he doesn't appear that the timing will end. But when comes to waiting for water, even though he fears the timing will end. But here it is not permissible to wait until the timing ends. Why? Because there is a difference between praying without water and praying without clothes. Praying without clothes is forgiven. If a person doesn't have clothes, it is forgiven. But when comes to water, what you call it? If a person for example knows that water is coming, that it is wajib for him to wait for wajib for him to wait for water. Because if you have water, you cannot do tayammum. But when comes to clothes, if you do not have clothes, until such an extent that the time when he will end, then any person and he comes, you can still any perform any your prayers. Because in this situation it is forgiven. You do not have any clothes, but prayers and it becomes any compulsory, and it is not any obligatory any upon you any to do qada in this situation because it is forgiven. But water carries any a different ruling. You cannot any do tayammum if there is water. You cannot do tayammum any if there is any water. At-takhiru bil wa'di bis sawb aw is-siqa. Siqa any in like a person and he has a pail. A person and is finding any a pail. He has a well but no pail. So at the end and he have walked and somebody tells him any that I will bring you any the pail. So in this situation and it is compulsory upon him any to wait. He cannot do tayammum. But he must wait any for the he must any wait any for the pail. Ma lam yakhif al qada. If he doesn't fear he doesn't fear any of qada, meaning he doesn't fear any that the timing and of the prayer and he will end. If he fears any that the timing and the prayer will end, and he can pray. He fears any the timing and he will end, and he can pray. But the difference any is when comes any to water. So these three examples any the author gave: clothes, pail, and clothes any and pail. So these are the things any that wajib any for you to wait, but to such an extent that if you know that the timing and your prayer and it will end, then and you have to perform any prayers. You cannot wait anymore. But when it comes any to water, it is given any more concession. Yani not only you say it is compulsory any upon you to wait any for water, and this is any based any conviction. Walau khaf al qada. Even though if a person any fears that the timing any of prayer any will, that the timing any of the prayer any will end. So at the last part any of the time, before any the end any of the time, any he performs any his prayers. If any the water any does not any reach him. Then any the author any speaks any about talabul ma, and this is part any of the chapter any in tayammum. When it comes any to tayammum, it is compulsory that we find water, because Allah mentioned in the Quran, fa in lam tajidu ma'an fatayammamu sa'idan tayyiba. Fa in lam tajidu ma'an, yani if you cannot find water, so meaning here you have to find any water. You have any to find water. But what is any the extent? What is any the obligation of finding water? To what extent that a person any must find? So number one, and he say wayajibu talabul ma'i ila miqdari arba'ati khutwatin, 400 steps. 400 steps, and it is about 170 meters. 170 meters. In zonna kurbahu ma'al amni. If he has zon, for example, there is a possibility within this radius of 170 meters, there is water. For example, a person sees there's a lot of trees on that side. There are birds coming in. For example, if you're in the desert, there are birds coming in that side, but you cannot see it. So there is a possibility there's water, because usually birds and vegetation they go and they're in the presence of water. So there is a possibility and in that there is water. So in that case, it is wajib for you to go. You cannot do tayammum now. So it is within the radius of how many? 400 khutwa. Yani 400 steps. So if there is none of the possibility that water is there, ma'al amni, unless if a person says there is robbers there, or there are wild animals and there is alligators and all these lions and tigers in that situation, then khalas a person does tayammum. But he said ma'al amni, if you can access that water. Wa illa fala, if there is no aman, then aman meaning safety. Naming safety, then it's not compulsory for you to get the water. You can do tayammum. So this is point number one. Number two, وَيَجِبُ طَلَبُهُ مِمَّنْ هُوَ مَعَهُ إِنْ كَانَ فِي مَحَلٍ لَا تَشِحُ بِهِ النُّفُوسِ. So number two, it is compulsory upon him to ask around people in the community. لَا تَشِحُ بِهِ النُّفُوسِ. If the situation is such that people will give you their water. Unless if there is a drought, where people will not, people won't give you any water. So there is no point for you to ask around, because people does not want to give you any water. But in a situation where people might give you any water, then you have to find and ask around. Anybody has water and he can spare me and all these things. So this is not number two. Number three, wa illam yu'tihi illa bisamanin mislihi. Number three is to buy water. For example, there are people who has water but they won't give you. You have to buy. Now it is compulsory upon you to buy if they sell you at the market price. If you sell you at the market price, then you have the money, and this money is more than your needs, that you need any from that money. Yani in terms of nafqa for your family and food any for your family, you have any extra. Now it is compulsory upon you, to purchase the water. Lazimahu shira'uhu. This one the author is saying. Lazimahu shira'uhu. It is compulsory upon him to buy the water in kana ma'ahu, if he has it. Fadilan an nafaqatihi. If he has any the money, fadilan an nafaqatihi. That is above what he has. Yani, for example, he needs for example, $20, he has $30. So he has extra. Then it is compulsory upon him to buy, with the condition that if the person sells any at the market price. But if the person is not selling any at the market price, then it is not compulsory upon him to buy. He can do tayammum. Then the author mentioned ma yusalla bit tayammum. So with tayammum, what are the prayers that we can perform? So he said wa yusalli bit tayammumil wahidi ma sha'a min al fara'idi wan nawafil. This is the madhab of Hanafi. They don't differentiate between the obligatory prayers and the sunnah prayers. And if with one tayammum, you can perform the obligatory prayers and the sunnah prayers as much as you wish. As much as you wish. And this is, mashallah, something that is simple in comparison to the madhab of Imam Shafi. We differentiate between the wajib prayer and the sunnah prayers. And if we say that the one tayammum is only for one fard. So if a person is performing another fard, then he has to take another tayammum. But here in the Hanafi madhab, they don't differentiate between the fara'id and the nawafil. The zuhur prayers, you can perform any one tayammum for the zuhur prayers, the asr prayers, the sunnah prayers. وَصَحَّ تَقْدِيمُهُ عَلَى الْوَقْتِ. And it is permissible also to perform the tayammum before the time. So this is another things that is easy in the Hanafi madhab. So we have come to this, and the next part the author mentioned tayammumul jarih. This one we will postpone to next week, and there are certain explanations that has to be done. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and with tawfiq. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.